I want to thank everybody that had kind words on YouTube, Twitter, um, wherever I posted it, right? Facebook, Instagram. I appreciate everybody that had kind words that understood, what was the situation with Carl and everything. Now, I didn't break down what happened, so I kind of want to do that in this video to let you know what led to that decision. Um, if you don't know of what post I'm talking about, I pretty much lost my best friend just this last day. So the last 24 hours, I had to um, put my best friend down. He was a cat. His name was Carl. He was a part of this channel, this brand. He was a part of the Patreon where he had Carl's calls and he picked different plays that we invested into. Um, he was a part of this. He was always here with me. Literally over these last 8 years, I feel like we've built such a large bond, such a big bond, because we're the only two boys in the house. Now I'm the only boy in the house. Now we're stuck with all girls. I'm not saying that I don't love them. I love every single one of them. But I felt as though Carl was always around me and he sensed that, we had some sort of a bond. He was always next to me. I would turn around, he would be right there. I'll be recording a video, you would see him walk past and just lay down because that's who he was. He was just around and he wanted to be with us at all times. While we were watching a movie, he was up there, So it's definitely something that's difficult um, to deal with. And I catch myself thinking about it all the time, catch myself maybe shedding a tear here and there, even though it's been some time, removed. It's still fresh. It's still here, right? Um, but yeah, he was an amazing animal. Like if I could ask for any cat, it would be him. If I could ask for any animal in general, it would be him to be here forever. However, that's not the case, obviously. So what did happen? The night before we saw him and he was like breathing really tight. So it looked like he was struggling breathing. And we were like, oh, well, maybe, we need to change his food. Or maybe he's having a bladder issues or something or whatever. Right. So we called, it definitely was an emergency. They said, yeah, we'll take him in the morning. We'll see him in the morning. So I called again in the morning and they ended up pushing it up because it seemed like he was breathing a little bit more tight and also was mouth breathing. So they were like, yeah, this is definitely an issue to where it may be more serious. So I was like, okay. He looks normal. He looks like he was running around and walking and jumping on the couch and laying with me and everything, right? I was like, all right, well, this looks normal. And I was even live streaming that morning. I was like, all right, well, I need to go take Carl to the vet today, thinking that it was going to be a normal situation, not anything that was crazy. And when I took him there, they were like, "Oh, he seems like he's walking around and everything." And then they checked him out. They were like, "Let me get some X-rays." And when they came back, they said, "Yeah, he has fluid in his lungs, and it's only going to get progressively worse." And I was like, "Okay, so how do we fix it? Like, do we have to go through the same situation? Where is it coming from? All the different questions." And they were like, first, every time we've seen this, it's always been in a lasting situation where the fluid continues to build up and they can't find out the problem. And then the cat just goes through a lot of pain and suffering. Um, and they usually recommend that, you think about putting the cat down. And I was just like, wait, what? That literally took a left turn to where I did not expect that because he seems like he's walking around. He seems like he's observing everything well. The only thing I see is that he's really struggling to breathe. He's mouth breathing. And we're like, yeah, well, it's going to get worse. Throughout the next couple of days, you're going to see him breathe even more tight. You're going to see him fully mouth breathing where it's just like a wide open mouth breathe. And then, it'll just get to a point where he suffocates himself and you'll find a dead cat somewhere. And you don't want to have that. You don't want the kids to find Carl dead somewhere. You don't want that to happen because that's more of a shock than going through this process. And I was very, very shocked at the news that I was getting because it seemed like he was going to make it out okay, that maybe he'll just need another surgery or something, take out the fluid or whatever. And they said if they remove the fluid, it's most likely that it's going to come back very, very quickly until they figure out what the issue is. So you can take him to a specialist, but a lot of times it ends up getting to a point to where no matter what, the fluid would just continue, and you're going to put your animal through a lot of pain and suffering doing that. And we ultimately made the decision, the hard decision, which I kept questioning. I kept saying, look, are we making the right decision? Am I being selfish by saying I want him here? Or am I doing the right thing by saying that I want him here? Or if we do the opposite thing, is it wrong that we're doing that? Or are we not doing enough to help him? Um, and that was just kept going back and forth with these questions, with Erica. Erica was there. I told her. She came from the gym really, really quickly to try and see him and see what was going on, ask her questions. And it all led to the same thing. And yeah, it absolutely hurt. So they told me, yeah, um, we're gonna do this, and you have two options to where you can keep him on the table or you can hold him while we do it. And I elected to hold him. I wanted to feel the last connection, which it may have been a mistake because now I have a memory. Now I have a memory of his last breath and his last heartbeat. So that's a little tough. And it probably was a mistake to do that because you know maybe it wasn't. I feel like maybe I have a little bit more of a connection, but I it's just so sad thinking about it, and that's what I remember. That's the last thing that I remember, right? So it was definitely tough. It was definitely tough to deal with. And even holding, his lifeless body afterwards, I mean, it's definitely tough. So it's not something that I don't even know what I really don't know where I'm going here. Um, Yeah, it was definitely something that I had to deal with, and I got a lot of tears out. I'll tell you that in the car, as well as back at home. Later that day, when Hayden realized, when they realized again that he's not there because he usually is with them while they go to sleep. He lays in the middle of their room while they get dressed and ready for bed. And then Harper literally like shut down, and she was like, "I miss Carl," and I didn't hear a word from her after that. Um, and that hurt even more. So it was definitely difficult. I'll tell you that. Um, but I appreciate all the support that we got, with all the people that were, commenting and, telling me that it's okay, just grieve, make sure you get it out. He was a great cat. Everybody that knew him, uh, people telling me that, they didn't want this to happen. Oh no, they really didn't want this to happen. It just feels good to know that you have so many people that did, love Carl from a distance as well as, close, within the household. Um, and even little things like he's always a cat that if I open the door, he'll try and like sneak out and be out in the front yard, and then we have to like shoo him back into the house. Um, Now we leave. I left the door open today, and I wasn't worried about Carl getting out. I caught myself like running to the door because I thought, hey, cat's gonna get out, but he's the only one that tries to go outside, or tried to go outside. So yeah, it definitely hurts a little bit. And some people, like I said, may just think, look, this is a cat. This is not a family member, but it is. I mean, they're with you for however many years. He was with us 8 years through two moves. Saw children come back to the house. Was very kind to those children. Loved those children. Laid with them. You know, great. It's great family member, right? So yeah, I just wanted to fill you guys in on what happened, and try and not have as many tears as I would have had on the first day. Um, because he is a part of this family. He's a part of the YouTube family. He's a part of um, my family, our household. So anyways, I don't know if there will be any other videos that come after this. I think it's still pretty difficult. Maybe I'll have some other videos, but if I don't think about what's happening or what has happened, maybe I'll be able to get through some. But I do appreciate all of your support, every single one of you. Um, there was no negative comments. There was no people that were like, "Oh, well, whatever, whatever, whatever." There were a lot of supportive comments, and I loved it. And I'm sure he would have loved it too if he was able to read. Um, um, and one other thing that did hurt was it felt like Daisy was trying to find her brother. Because we do have a girl cat and we got them at the same time. It seemed like Daisy was trying to find her brother because she went over to the crate that he was in, rubbing against it, meowing very, very loud, which is typical of her to meow super loud for no reason. But this seems like it had a reason behind it. And even during the night, we fed her food. Typically, she just eats all of it and walks away. She ate some of it and then looked upstairs like she was waiting for Carl to come. And then she didn't eat any other bites and she ran upstairs, basically looking around. It seemed like she was trying to search for Carl. Like, are you coming to eat? It's dinner time, but he's not there, you know? She doesn't know. So, anyways, again, thank you for your support. I appreciate all of you guys, every last one of you. But hopefully I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.